All right, Martin Missy of Protector, how are you today?
Okay, a little tired. I woke up at around 5:30 this morning to go to work. And I came home about an hour ago, fixed some food for my sons, and so a little tired, but that's normal in the weeks.
That's true. Well, anyways, welcome to 69 Faces of Rock. Happy to have you, happy to speak to you. So this new album right there, right?
And excuse me, one of my sons was coming in. Yeah,
that's right.
This is the new album. Yes.
Yes, that's life. I mean, things like that happen. So when did you begin to work on what became Excessive Outburst of Depravity?
The work, you can say, almost always starts when the album before is finished. So let's say around 2019, 2020. So just when the pandemic started, we also started with writing the new songs. And in that regard, it was maybe the only positive thing about the pandemic was that we got, because we didn't play any gigs for 2 years, we had a lot of time for the songs through the pandemic. So yeah, so and I think you can hear this. Usually we have to we write some songs, and then we have to focus on rehearsing for the next gig again and stuff like that. But we didn't, because we didn't have any gigs, we didn't had to do this. So this time we could go all the way for 2 years.
Did you have any specific goals in mind?
The only goal is that same goal that we always had. It's like never to change too much. In that way we are quite boring, if you want to, because we want to be old school. We want to sound the way we always sound. The fans can rely on that. We always try to make that we always want to sound like, yeah, as much as 1980s as possible. And that goal is the only goal we always have.
Tell me about the songs. What are they about nowadays?
The songs, it's a little bit different. Some of the songs which I have written lyrics to are usually, because I'm more of the storytelling guy. It's mostly history, or some kind of, yeah, I'm trying to tell a story or something that I made up, while our bass player, who has written 4 of the lyrics, is more into the real life, politics and social stuff and things like that. So it's a mixture between yeah, storytelling and real life.
And I do have some questions about individual songs. One obviously has to do with the pandemic. It's called Pandemic Misery. Can you comment on that?
That is one of our bass players' lyrics. He wrote it because he probably was the one who had the biggest difficulty with the pandemic, sitting at home, almost no concerts, not be able to play with the band and stuff like that. That took quite hard on him. So yeah, so that's, he expresses that a lot in these lyrics. Yeah.
What about 30 Years of Perdition?
30 Years of Perdition is one of my lyrics. It's about the 30 years war we had here in Europe in the 1600s. And it was one of the most brutal conflicts in the Central Europe. So yeah, I always wanted to write the lyrics about that. So yeah, I did this time.
Mm-hmm. Is Infinite Tyranny a look at the political world these days?
Yes, this is also one of Matthias, our bass player's lyrics. And he expresses his the way he sees on the political and social landscape in many corners of the world. Yes.
Mm-hmm. How will you promote this album? Will there be any tours? What's going to happen?
We never really actually have done tours or something. We usually, because we all work, have families and stuff like that, we usually play weekend gigs and stuff like that. And that we will do next week. Actually, we will be doing our first concerts for 2.5 years in Germany and the Czech Republic. And later this summer, we will play in Slovakia and in Germany again. And in November, we will play in Poland.
When you look back at how you wrote and recorded the music back in the 80s and how you do it now, what differences or similarities do you see?
Well, back in the 80s, it was like this, that we all lived in the same town. So we all were present in the rehearsal room and wrote the songs together. Usually, Hansi, our guitarist, had some riffs, and he and Michael, the drummer, put together a song. And when that was finished, I started writing lyrics to that. We recorded it with a cassette player, and I sat at home and wrote the lyrics, and then we tested them in the rehearsal room. Today, it's a little bit different. Now that the band is situated in Sweden, and my 3 band colleagues live on the West Coast. I live on the East Coast. It's 500 kilometers in between. And so they rehearse in their hometown, write songs, and send them to me by internet. That is the only big change from today. They send it and I write the lyrics, and then I try to record something at home to these rehearsal room recordings. And also 2 or 3 times a year, I go over to Uddevalla, where they live, and rehearse together with the guys.
Mm-hmm. Also, I mean, what's it like to work with the entirely Swedish lineup as opposed to the German lineup you had back in the old days?
Actually, I have to say it's, and that is fantastic, that it's no big difference. Back in the day, all the band members were so focused and friends as well. And it's exactly the same with the new band. They are all also very focused on what they are doing. And we are also have become quite good friends now that we have played together for over 15 years.
Mm-hmm. Protector was never quite present on the American market. Are you ever planning on changing that? And how come it never happened in the past?
Back in the 80s, I think, I'm not sure, but I think Atom Age, our record company at the time, as far as I know, they didn't have any, what do you call it, connections, distribution, yeah. In the States. I think they were mainly focused on Europe. It was a young record company. It was, of course, they had just started when we were one of the first bands on the label. So maybe that was the reason why we never, I think everyone who got a record back then got it by import or something, by ordering it in Europe. So yeah, that was of course a little bit sad that we didn't get that much attention on the other side of the Atlantic, so to say. But in Europe, I think okay, of course, we never were as big as Sodom, Creator, or Destruction, but yeah, at least we got some recognition here in Europe, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, over the years, I definitely see kids with an occasional Protector t-shirt, but a lot of patches here and there. So there are fans out here.
Oh, cool. But today, of course, it's easier because mainly also the internet, you can discover bands from all over the world just by clicking some buttons. And so I think that has also helped Protector quite a lot to also get known in Asia. We get contacts. We have contacts with Asia, with South America, North America. So that's cool.
Yeah, and I have been a fan for a long time. So when an option for this interview came up, I jumped on it right away because I figured, hey, I can help out spread the word about this awesome band that very few know and more should know.
Yes, great, awesome.
So let's talk some history because you have a very rich history. So what's going to happen is I'm going to show you some album covers and maybe you can comment on some of those things that you did in the past. Misanthropy was your first EP that you did. Yes. long time ago. What do you remember from recording those 6 songs?
Of course, it was very exciting because it was the first recording I did. Hansi and Michael had already recorded the demo a half a year earlier, or almost a year earlier. So for them, it was not that new. And for me, it was very interesting that in the rehearsal room, I only had like an old speaker. I think even it was a bass box that I had bought for a cheap kind of money. And when we recorded songs with a cheap cassette player, everything sounded really evil. My voice was really heavy. It was cool. And when we came into the studio, it sounded horrible. My voice was like, and I was, what is happening? Because it sounded so brutal in the rehearsal room and all of a sudden in the clean atmosphere of the studio. So I had to, I think I like screamed and shouted for like half an hour alone in this little booth. And then the voice was so, yeah, the result was then later what you heard on the EP. So that was a kind of a shock moment when I came. I thought, my first thought was when this was discovered was, I'm going to be fired. They're going to fire me as the singer, and maybe our drummer will do the vocals or something. But fortunately, they gave me the time. And I was able to record everything, and it was cool. It was awesome to see this record when it came out, the first sign on vinyl, at least, from Protector.
And then you follow that a year later with Golem.
Yes, yes.
And this time you were a little bit more experienced in the studio.
Yes, that it was. And we also the first record was recorded just 20 kilometers from Wolfsburg in another town that was quite close. This time we had to go down to the Ruhr area, the stronghold of especially thrash metal, where Creator and Sodom, Violent Force are coming from, to record in the studio there. And that was also cool that you came away from Wolfsburg and recorded in a completely new environment. And now we had like a whole LP to record, and I had more time in the rehearsal room the past year to train my voice more for the album. So yeah, I think we all were very satisfied with the result. And as far as I know, this is the most popular Protector album on which I am singing.
You didn't stop there. Erm the Mad continued the tradition. I think your voice went out. I might have muted.
I must have touched a button here, yeah.
Out of excitement.
Yeah. I think the sound was a little bit different than it was. I don't know. So, and the songs maybe also. I think Golem is a little bit stronger album than Orm the Mad. But well, I did one more, and after that, my time in Protector was sadly was over then. Yeah.
What happened? Why did you leave the band?
I had to admit that at that time we did drugs, and I got psychological problems from that. And I just couldn't stand on the stage anymore and sing. I had to focus on myself and getting myself together again and on the right track. So fortunately, they found a great guy who could record Ollie, yeah. And well, and that was that. And I never thought that I would return to Protector again. It was just a chapter I thought was closed, yeah.
Yeah. Now, Protector went on and did 2 more albums without you.
Yeah.
I know you were not on these records, but do you have any opinion as to how they did?
A Shedding of Skin is probably the most popular Protector album ever. I think they sold best of all albums, of all Protector albums. It has a great sound done by Harris Jones. Michael and Ollie recorded this on their own. Just the 2 of them. Is an amazing album. The Heritage is more brutal in a way, but it's not, I think at least, it's not as much, what do you say, the hit factor is not as big as on A Shedding of Skin.
So how did you end up in Sweden?
My mother is from Sweden. And so when I grew up in Wolfsburg in Germany, I grew up bilingual with 2 languages. And we always had good connections to Sweden. We went there every year, summer holidays and stuff like that, and a lot of cousins and friends in Sweden. And in 1995, I decided I tried to move here and see what it's like, and yeah, and that's how I ended up here.
Now, for a while, you were doing a tribute band to Protector. So when did this actually turn into the actual reunion?
The tribute band was formed in 2006, and and in 2011, I think it was, yes, that we decided we would like to continue as Protector officially again. So I talked to Hansi Müller, who had formed the band together with Michael Hasse in 1986, and he said it for him it was a great idea, and that the music could live on, and the name officially again. And yeah, from 2011 on, we have officially named us Protector again, yes.
And you came back with this album, Reanimated,
yes.
Vocalist. What can you tell me about this record?
Yeah, that was our first steps together as the new band. We had done a demo 2 years before, but this was the first time in a real studio together for us. It was a kind of, we had to find our way, how we together would record and do things together. So, but I think it's a good start for the new Protector age.
And how did the fans react when the band came back?
As far as I can say, it was quite positive. Both the reactions on the internet and when we played live and talked to people. Yes, I think the most people were positive about that we were back again. Yes, even if it just was me that was from the old original band.
You followed that with Cursed and Coronated.
Yes.
All right. Where did things go from there?
We did on the first two albums. We how do you say? We played it a little safe. We did everything was like the same. We had the same artist for the album cover. We had the same studio where we recorded. The same guy who mastered the thing. So you can see this just as a prolongation as from the first album. But I think you can hear that we are already doing progress in how we write songs together, put them together, and make that one more step into the right direction. And also the reviews we got for that album was a little bit better than for Reanimated. So yeah, it was one step in the right direction.
And you continue stepping up in the right directions with Summon the Hordes.
Yes. Yes, and there we tried something new or something old new by recording with Harris Jones, who had already done Shedding of Skin. And yeah, and that was also a quite interesting experience. The first two albums were recorded in Sweden, and this time my band colleagues went down to Berlin, where Harris lives, and recorded the album there. I recorded the vocals in Stockholm. And yeah, also this is an album that makes one more step also in the right direction. We get more and more tighter as a musical group, how to write songs. We get the nuances right and stuff like that. So, and also the reviews were better than for the album before. So it was great to do this together, yeah.
And this brings us again to the album we looked at the very beginning of this interview.
Yes.
How would you say things are progressing from the last album to this one?
I think personally, usually that's not my thing to say when we do a new record, to say every time say this is the best record we have ever done and this is our best record. But this is the first record that where I actually say this is at least the best since the reunion of the resurrection of the band. I really got this feeling quite early when we wrote the songs. I like the riffs. Usually I don't listen to that much to things I have recorded myself, but this album, it was already finished in December, the mix and mastering. I actually listen to in my car quite often. So I really think that this was a not even one, but maybe even two steps forward, this recording. And the sound is awesome also by Patrick W. Engel. He has really captured this 80s spirit in the sound. So yeah, it's great.
How would you describe the band dynamic since reforming?
Everyone is like bringing their own personality into the band. Kalle is this, there is almost no day where he's not smiling. He's a very funny guy, a very social guy. Mikke is totally into his guitars. He's also playing in other bands and stuff like that, and he brings that into the band. And Mate, the bass player, he is a real character because he has this ear for like, he loves 80s metal, and he has this ear for these most of the riffs on the album are from him. He has this ear for this 80s feeling in a way, and so he brings often riffs, and also of course Mikke and sometimes Kalle. I have also written 3 of the songs, but most of the riffs comes from him. They put it together, and I think it goes faster and faster and easier to put these songs together, because we have now, as I said, been playing together for 15 years and 11 years as Protector. So it's a very great and easygoing way to do songs in this band and play live, of course, as well.
Are you still in touch with the former members of Protector?
Mm-hmm.
What are they up to?
In the 90s, it was. I had just moved to Sweden. I didn't have so much contact, but with the internet coming up, I got contact with them again. So around the new millennium, and when I got back to Wolfsburg to visit my my mother, I also tried to visit some of them, like Olli and Hansi, when I'm there. And yeah, Hansi, there is nothing actually new. He stopped playing guitar after Protector. He was just not that interested in doing this anymore. He focused on his family and on his job at the Volkswagen factory, where most people or many people in Wolfsburg work. Olli is also working for Volkswagen, as far as I know, and he has in these past years slowly but surely started playing guitar again, and also has a new band going, where he had the first concert half a year ago, I think. So yeah, that will be interesting if there will be coming something more from Olli and this new band as well.
And
so
yeah. Speaking of life outside of the band, early in the interview, you mentioned that you just came back from work. So what is it that you do when you're not doing music?
I work at the hospital with logistics. We are serving the operation department, which do the operations on people with materials. Mm-hmm. And that is what I do from morning till evening, and sometimes on the weekends as well. So yeah, and my wife is working as a nurse, just on the floor above, on the operating team. So yeah, that's what I do, and trying to take care of my 2 sons.
Excellent. What are your hopes for the future?
Oh. To be doing this with Protector for as long as possible. I hope it will be for at least 10 or maybe another 15 years, because it's so fun to do this together with these guys. Would it just be like a work relationship? Then I just would say, I don't know. But I hope it will, that we will be able to play together for at least 10, 15 years more. And but on the other hand, after getting, we had quite many good and very good reviews for the new album. I'm a little bit afraid that we maybe never will be able to make anything that will be even better than this. So I don't know if we should record anything anymore, but just play live in the future.
Hey, as long as you're having a good time, why not?
Yeah, we will see.
Finally, when you look back at all your years in the music business in Protector, what were some of your personal highlights?
Oh, with the old Protector, the original Protector, I would say the albums, because we just did a few gigs. They were special as well, of course, but this feeling, being in a studio and recording together with the guys, and to hold this album in your hands afterwards, that was awesome. Today, it's a little bit the whole package, I would say. This going on tour with or to the gigs with the guys. We have so much fun on the way, just going there, and then when we play live, and it all comes so easy also when we write songs together. So yeah, I just couldn't wish for anything better than that. So
thank you for speaking to me, and good luck with everything.
Thank you for doing the interview with me. Thank you.